Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Vermont House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. It is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026 at 2:45 in the afternoon. We've asked our legislative counsel, Jen Carby, to come in. I've asked her to draft an amendment to S-168 and the committee to take a look at it. That's to do with more reporting on the consumer protection piece that we did on the tobacco bill. And with that, Human Services to amend the bill because they have possession of it now. Jen, thanks for coming.
Laura, thanks for having me. Oh, I said I was going to join the Zoom all instead of so Bill. Let me hop on your Zoom and we'll walk through the language with you. Jen Carby from the Office of Legislative Counsel. Walk through the language with you. I'll orient you a little bit. So this is S-198. This is the tobacco bill. Work done in here, and we are looking in section, this language would go in section 1, which is the whole tobacco chapter, and it would go in the section on online sales. Let's just zoom in right now. Yeah. Perfect. Here is the language, so I just used some ellipses here to skip over everything that's in the existing section 1010 here. And this would add a new subsection E, and it would start off saying, on or before January 15th of each year, the Department of Liquor and Lottery and the Office of the Attorney General would each report to this committee, the Human Services Committee, and your Senate counterparts regarding enforcement of Vermont laws relating to online sales of tobacco products, tobacco substitutes, and tobacco paraphernalia as set forth in this subsection. We would have the Department of Liquor and Lottery report at least the following information for the previous 12-month period: the number of online compliance checks that the department conducted, the number of cases related to online sales activity that the department referred to the Office of the Attorney General for further action, and the number of reports of unlawful online sales activity that the department received from the public and the outcomes of those reports.
Jen, I noticed that from Hannah talked about they don't have any administrative penalties.
They don't impose monetary penalties. They
Under-
said for.
Under the new construct. Will
I
they?
don't think it changed anything about that they don't have specific penalty authority under this provision, and I'd have to look at the piece they had to change in 210, which is their general
Yeah, that's,
power enforcement.
but aren't they, because now if this goes through, they will have the authority, the licensing authority, right?
Right.
So if somebody is selling online without a license, then they have the authority to for an administrative penalty.
There are current provisions in existing law penalizing, having actually criminal penalties for violating this ban on online sales. I did not hear from them about the extent to which they treat these internet sales violations as violations of the retail or wholesaler licensure requirements. It's an interesting question, but I don't know that we discussed that.
So the AG is the one that,
The AG is the one that, yes, that
Well,
my understanding enforces
Yeah, well,
this
with the
section.
consumer protection law, but I still think,
Well, I think under the existing Title VII law, not specifically the Consumer Protection Act.
yeah, but we included that in the legislation.
I think you did specifically for the deceptive devices.
It's just the devices?
Consumer Protection Act.
But I think because now the licensure, we don't license the wholesalers yet. They only go through tax. But the proposal is for liquor lottery to license them.
Right.
So there must be penalties for selling in the state without a license.
Well, there are penalties for retail sale without a license. There are penalties for wholesale sale. I think I would need the Department of Liquor and Lottery to weigh in on how they would treat that. And I think where this is coming from originally, when the chair and I had talked about this, we're looking at having them report on the penalties that they imposed for violations of the online sales ban.
Yeah.
And Department of Liquor and Lottery said we don't impose financial penalties for violations of the online sales ban. So I think that's where the chair's questions are coming from. And I have another upstairs, DLL is upstairs in House Human Services testifying on S-198 right now, if you want. Try to snag.
Maybe
it.
I'm mixing up bills, but I thought that when we talked about that, when they were here, and I thought that their counsel referred to some general statute, I can't remember the section, that would cover those sorts of
I think
violations.
that's the 210, the
210.
7 VSA 210 that you amended. You added some amendments that is suspension or revocation of
I see.
license or permit. And there's an administrative penalty for that, but this is not suspending or
Right.
revoking because there's no.
So what if we,
Okay.
under their section, talk about any administrative penalties for sales, for unlicensed sales?
I think we'd want to check in with them to see if they impose penalties in addition to what is in the existing
Okay,
statute for the violation of the, specifically of the online.
Can we look at 1010
Yes. That's,
and just to help me understand how,
yes, I'm looking to see how much of it is in the bill itself. Well, most of it's in the bill except for the definitions, which sort of, they point to existing definitions. So let me put up, this is what I was doing instead of getting on Zoom. The bill you passed out of. Okay. So in the bill you passed out of S-198 as it came out of this committee, so our most current version in 1010. So what's not showing here is a list of definitions in existing statute that I don't think are anything different from what you're expecting. So under existing law, it says no person shall cause cigarettes, roll your own tobacco, little cigars, snuff, tobacco substitutes, substances containing nicotine or otherwise intended for use with a tobacco substitute or tobacco paraphernalia ordered or purchased by mail or through a computer network, telephonic network, or other electronic network to be shipped to anyone other than a licensed wholesale dealer. And under current law, it says or a retail dealer in this state. And your version would take out retail dealer, but then give an exception saying, but that prohibition does not apply to a licensed wholesale dealer shipping directly to a licensed retail dealer in the state. And then there's prohibition on providing substantial assistance to someone in violation of this section, if they have knowledge or reason to know of the violation. And then there's the punishment provision. So a violation of this section is punishable as follows. A knowing or intentional violation is punishable by imprisonment for not more than 5 years or a fine of not more than $5,000 or both. And in addition to or in lieu of any other civil or criminal remedy provided by law upon determination the person is violated this section, the Attorney General may impose a civil penalty in an amount not to exceed $5,000. So knowing or intentional violation has criminal penalty, violation regardless of the knowing or intentional. So regardless of the intent element is subject to a civil penalty up to $5,000 for each violation. And it specifies that for purposes of this subsection, which is all of this 1 and 2, each shipment or transport of cigarettes, roll your own tobacco, little cigars, snuff, and we added the rest of the list in the bill, shall constitute a separate violation.
so then my question is that number 1,
Yes.
is that an attorney general penalty or is that a penalty that liquor and lottery, because it specifically says 2 is from the attorney general.
Right, I think one may be, I want the Attorney General or someone from law enforcement to weigh in, but I think it may be state's attorney or attorney general,
Not liquor.
but not liquor. I don't believe liquor and lottery would have
Oh.
the ability to punish by, to bring criminal charges.
It's criminal
Okay.
violence.
yeah,
So I would think,
I think state's
State
attorney or
attorney or
attorney general.
attorney general. but we're looking for
okay. So I'm just wondering if there's any civil penalty that they impose,
that they impose or expect to impose.
yeah, on wholesaler that's selling in the state without a license.
Well, I can email Anna and ask if you want,
Sure.
while we just,
You
is
can
she in the
wait
commissioner or upstairs?
bottom of the stairs and.
You just pull them up on Zoom.
Hmm?
Just pull them up on Zoom.
Have to get a Zoom invite, though.
Oh, shit.
We need to get folks pace. Just think.
So I'm saying just DL impose or expect to impose any penalties on wholesalers or anyone else for violating
Yeah.
the online sales.
Well, for selling without a license.
Um, Okay, so just DL impose or expect to impose any penalties on wholesalers or anyone else for selling without a license if they sell tobacco products online. Is that
Yeah.
what we're asking?
Yeah.
Say,
Because I think then. Because I think the discussion we had in here was that there could be a double whammy for something, right? That they're selling without a license. And also the AG can go after them.
right,
Okay,
sent?
Yeah.
Want to go back to the language?
yes.
Talk slowly in case we get an answer. I told her to feel free to come down and answer if she gets in there. 2 minutes. All right, so we were on. Okay, so that was the reporting from DLL, at least as it is in this language currently. Number of online clients checks conducted, number of cases related to online sales activity referred to the Office of the Attorney General, and the number of reports of unlawful online sales activity received from the public and what the outcomes were. And it also has the Office of the Attorney General reporting at least the following information for the previous 12-month period. And that is the outcomes of cases related to online sales activity that's referred by the Department of Liquor and Lottery or any other governmental source. The number of reports of unlawful online sales activity that the office received from the public and the outcome of those reports. And the number and amounts of any monetary penalties imposed and other legal remedies executed by the office related to online sales activity.
I think we captured what we should be learning. I would say the number of online compliance checks that the department conducted is something that we should be thinking about, or you all should be thinking about next year. Because I think last year they reported 127. They conducted compliance checks, so that's about 10 a month. Is that sufficient? And so those are questions that we need to ask to make sure that they're sufficiently going online and checking this out. So I don't know that 10 is enough in a month, but I think we need the data in order to have that conversation with DLL. Because I think there's conversations that have been happening for the last 2 or 3 years about adding another investigator that would primarily work on online investigations, but would also be available for other investigations as well. Just remember that next year, looking at this. Well,
On that point, and I guess it's probably something that could be gone over when they come in, but I am curious about how who is this work being spread over? Like how many people are doing those online compliance checks?
so I think there's 14 investigators, and I think
Do they check like
Each. we'll do some every month.
Okay,
I know that So last year was 127. I think so far this year is 66. So I think they've stepped it up by the sounds of it. So hopefully they continue to ramp it up if they can.
Sorry, is that a calendar year or a fiscal year?
I think calendar year. So if you, if they do, or if they anticipate providing penalties, that I think just add it to the language.
Yep.
Okay,
We do that.
okay, yeah. We'll talk to Teresa, ask her. I think, yeah, if they do just just forward us the new language that's in there, and then we'll ask Teresa if she can put it in.
Okay,
Okay,
yes,
thank you, Jen.
sure.
Okay, committee, I think that's it for today. So, we'll be back at 9 tomorrow. Continue our discussions on the CPE bill. We'll get on that, hopefully. Okay, we can go off live. In 9 tomorrow.